Sandy soil presents a unique set of challenges for gardeners, and honestly, these issues can be a bit frustrating. The structure of sandy soil means it just doesn't hold onto water or nutrients the way other soils do. This can make it tough for plants to thrive, as their roots often struggle to find what they need. Understanding these problems is the first step towards finding effective solutions. So let's dig a little deeper into what makes sandy soil so tricky. Sandy soil has a reputation problem that is almost entirely deserved. It drains so fast that water is gone before roots can use it. It holds almost no nutrients because it has nothing to hold them with. The large, smooth mineral particles of sand have almost no surface area for nutrient ions to attach to, so whatever you add to it washes straight through. It heats up rapidly in summer and cools rapidly in winter, creating temperature swings at the root level that stress plants and suppress soil biology. And every season, despite what you add to it, compost, manure, mulch, fertilizer, it seems to return to the same pale, dry, biologically hollow state by midsummer, as if everything you put into it simply passed through without effect. If you have grown food in sandy soil for any length of time, you have experienced the specific frustration of watching a thriving early-season bed collapse into drought stress by July, despite your best efforts. What I'm going to tell you today is why everything most gardeners try with sandy soil is treating the symptom rather than the cause, and what a 1,500-year-old soil from the Amazon basin tells us about the one intervention that actually solves the problem permanently. Now let's talk about the permanent solution. It's not just about quick fixes or temporary improvements. What we're looking for is a real, lasting change that transforms your sandy soil for good. This approach, honestly, goes beyond the usual advice and gets to the root of the problem. The solution is not what is conventionally recommended for sandy soil. It is not more compost, though compost helps temporarily. It is not more frequent watering, though that compensates for a season. It is not a mulch thick enough to insulate the surface, though that addresses the temperature problem partially. All of these are management responses to a soil that is failing at a fundamental level, and they require your repeated effort every season to maintain a result that disappears the moment you stop. The actual solution is a permanent structural change to the sandy soil's physical and biological architecture. A change that, once made, does not require repeating, does not wash away in rain, and does not decompose back to baseline over winter. It's a change that, well, a pre-Columbian civilization in the Amazon understood and applied so effectively that the soil they built is still more productive today than the surrounding native Amazon soil that honestly no human hand has touched in 15 centuries. That civilization's method, translated into a practice any gardener can implement this weekend, is what this video is all about. Before we get into it, if you want more content like this with the depth and the practical specifics that, a single video just can't always contain, sign up for my free email list. I send practical growing guides, soil techniques, and food production knowledge that goes further than what fits here. The link is in the description. It's completely free, and honestly, the content is worth your time. Now let's talk about the Amazon, the soil that has never been equaled, and what it tells us about fixing sandy ground permanently. So let's dive into the science behind it all, the science of cation exchange. This process is, in essence, the key to understanding why some soils are so much more fertile than others. It's about how soil particles hold on to nutrients and make them available to plants. And, well, once you grasp this, you'll see why the Amazonian method works so brilliantly and how you can use it to transform your own sandy soil, step by step. Why sandy soil fails at the root level and why the conventional fixes address the wrong problem. To understand why the Amazonian solution works for sandy soil when everything else only works temporarily, you first need to understand what sandy soil actually lacks at the physical and chemical level, because what it lacks is not what most gardening advice assumes. The standard diagnosis of sandy soil is that it is low in nutrients and low in organic matter. Both of those things are true, but they are consequences of a more fundamental problem, not the problem itself. The root cause of sandy soil failure is the absence of what soil scientists call the cation exchange capacity, the soil's ability to hold positively charged nutrient ions against the pull of water moving through it. Nutrient ions, the forms of nitrogen, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals that plants can actually absorb, carry a positive electrical charge. Soil particles that have negatively charged surfaces attract and hold these ions the way a magnet holds iron filings, retaining them in the root zone against the leaching force of rain and irrigation water moving downward through the profile. Clay particles have very high surface negative charge, which is why clay soils hold nutrients well, sometimes a bit too well, actually locking them up. Organic matter, humus specifically, also has high surface negative charge and is the primary nutrient holding capacity in most productive agricultural soils. In contrast, sand particles have almost zero surface negative charge. They're electrically neutral and smooth. Now, let's talk about biochar and terra preta. These are fascinating topics in soil science. Biochar is a type of charcoal that's used as a soil amendment, and it's known for its remarkable ability to hold on to nutrients, much like humus does. Terra preta, a term that means dark earth in Portuguese, refers to incredibly fertile soils found in the Amazon, which owe their productivity to centuries-old additions of biochar and organic matter. When you add biochar to your soil, you're essentially increasing its nutrient holding capacity and improving its structure, which can be a real game changer for gardeners and farmers alike. Nutrient ions in solution pass through sandy soil with the water held by nothing, reaching neither the plant roots nor a stable resting place in the soil. You can add nutrients to sandy soil all season and, honestly, a significant proportion of them will be in the drainage water below the root zone within days of each rain. This is why the conventional approach to sandy soil, adding compost and fertilizer regularly, produces results that require constant renewal. Compost adds temporary cation exchange capacity through its humus content, but in sandy soil, the humus decomposes faster than it accumulates because the rapid drainage and temperature cycling accelerate microbial activity and organic matter breakdown. The compost you add in spring is largely gone by midsummer. The fertilizer you add washes through before the plant can use it. You are trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open. What you need is to close the drain, to add something to the sandy soil that permanently increases its cation exchange capacity without itself washing away or decomposing to baseline. That is exactly what biochar does, and it is exactly what the builders of the Amazon's terra preta soil understood and applied with a consistency and effectiveness that their soil is still demonstrating 15 centuries later. Terra preta, the soil that changed everything. Soil scientists thought they understood about tropical agriculture. In the mid-20th century, soil scientists working in the Amazon basin encountered something that contradicted every established assumption about tropical soil productivity. So let's talk about the architecture of biochar. Its structure is honestly quite remarkable. Unlike simple ash, biochar retains a complex network of pores and channels. Think of it as a kind of scaffold left behind after organic material is burned in the absence of oxygen. This architecture is what gives biochar its unique properties in the soil, allowing it to hold water, nutrients, and provide habitats for beneficial microbes. It's this intricate design formed at the microscopic level that makes biochar such a powerful tool for soil health and carbon storage. Under a microscope, biochar looks like the cross-section of wood, channels, chambers, pore networks, but made of a carbon material that soil bacteria and fungi cannot easily decompose. This is why biochar persists in soil for centuries to millennia, while organic matter in the same soil turns over in months to years. 1 gram of biochar, which is roughly a teaspoon, contains a total internal surface area of between 200 and 400 square meters. That's the equivalent of 2 to 4 tennis courts of surface area inside a single teaspoon of material. Now, let's talk about putting biochar to use and, actually getting it ready for action. Implementation and activation are key steps if you want to get the most out of this remarkable material. Activating biochar before application. That's the step most gardeners skip, and honestly, it's what makes the difference between good and extraordinary results. If you apply fresh biochar directly to sandy soil without pre-treatment, you'll get some results, sure, but those results will be significantly inferior to activated biochar in the first season. Share this with a gardener who is fighting sandy soil every season. Subscribe if you are not already here, and sign up for the email list in the description. The link is there, it's free, and the content is definitely worth your time.